If you look at the market in 2015, we had quite a successful year with a market share of 47.5%. That is 1% more than we had last year. The market overall was growing in Poland with an increase of 10%. You can see that the number 2, 3 or 4 in the market are way behind Solaris. So it's the 13th time in a row that Solaris is leading the Polish market. In absolute numbers, you can see it's 330 units, a very solid accomplishment. If you look at Solaris for the year 2015, we have 1,289 units. Poland is leading with 333 units. Czech Republic was very strong with 158. Germany 124, not as many as in the past, but still the third strongest market. We have then many other markets in the neighborhood between 60 and 90 units. So overall, you can see that we are quite active in many countries. On the sales side, you can see 1,279 units. It's the third best number we ever achieved. So it's good to see that Solaris is stabilizing now on the 1,300 unit level. The good news is also for the year 2016, our order backlog is 150 units higher than it was a year ago. So from that end, we fully expect to have an increase in 2016 over 2015. The best number we ever had is 1,380. So we will do our best to beat that number in this year. On the revenue side, you can see we achieved the highest revenue in history. With 1.7 billion zloty, roughly 403 million euros. So you can see the growth trend that the company had over the last 10 years is fully intact. And so overall, best revenue in history, third most sold buses in history. So the year 2015 was quite successful. But of course, we did not only sell buses. We investing in the infrastructure. In 2015, we completed a 45 million zloty investment in our production facilities in Bolesław. We increased the production hall. We consolidated warehouses and also then improved the offices. So it's 7,000 square meters that are up in Bolesław. I can only invite you when you are in the neighborhood, come and see us. I think it's quite impressive what you will find there. You can also see here a picture from the inside of the office area. So it's very friendly for visitors. It's also good for communication because the offices are all in one floor, and we can meet very quickly. Also on Google Maps, you can find us. Go on the website, and you can have an office tour in your office. So I think it's quite neat and a good service for you. What have we done? The new Urbino hit the market. We sold now more than 300 units by now in 46 cities in 8 countries. Order intake is strong, we have to say. I think the customers like the vehicles, and part of the better order intake that we have is based on the new Urbino. In 2015, we introduced new variants. The most important one, the Urbino 12 electric vehicle that will lead the future for Solaris. The vehicle has all kinds of propulsion systems. You have plug-in charging, you have conductive charging, inductive charging. So we we will offer all these variants, and we have sold already several of these new Urbinos in the electric version. Next new vehicle was the Urbino low entry. Also there we have received first orders in Austria for the very prominent airport line. So if you come to Vienna Airport in the third quarter, you can find these buses in action. New Urbino, many prizes. We continue to collect design awards. We had in the beginning the IFA Design Award, the Top Design Award. Also now in Milano we received the UIDP Design Award for the vehicle. The Termino Braunschweig Red Dot Design Award. So the good news is we not only build very solid and functional buses, but they also look nice and they are recognized by industry experts. Talking about trams, we had in Olsztyn on December 19th the comeback of the tram in Olsztyn. After more than 50 years, trams came back. It was a huge event. I had the pleasure to be there. And so these 15 trams are in service in Olsztyn, and these are the quietest trams in Poland. We talked about export markets. 80% of all sales go to export. Italy is an important market to us. So it was a big pleasure that in 2015 we delivered the 500 Solaris in Italy. Talking about round numbers, we delivered 1,000 trolley buses so far. So here the number 1,000 went to the city of Salzburg, but also in Poland. We are of course active, so number 1,001 went to Poland. Solaris has always been known for creativity and flexibility. So there was no surprise that we were able for the city of Karlsruhe in Germany to build a special bus. You can see the bridge here is very low, and no bus manufacturer in Europe could do it, but Solaris did. So we made the vehicle a little bit lower so that it could go through the tunnel. And I think that is part of the Solaris DNA, that we are able to do that, and we will continue to do that. Of course, when it comes to flexibility, here you can see the Inter Urbino. We make a mobile film studio out of it. So here inside the bus you can cut movies. On site we had Natalie Portman there on site to take over the bus. So again, it's a good sign what Solaris is able to do. I think we are very well known in Europe by now about our electric buses. You can see here on the photos of buses in Berlin and in Dresden. We were in Paris at the World Climate Conference. That bus is doing tests right now in Paris. In the first 6 weeks, the customer was extremely pleased. And just to give you an idea what can happen, so we started discussions with Paris about electric buses last year in Milan in June. Paris never talked to Solaris before, and now we won 48 CNG buses for the city of Paris, and that was a direct result of the initial discussions about electric buses. So they open us doors in other countries and new customers. You can see we have buses in all sizes. We have the midi bus, 9 meter, the maxi, 12 meter, Mega 18 meter, and also the Mega exceeded with 18.75 meters. Here the long one is for city of Barcelona. We added a new country, a new market to Solaris portfolio. We are also now in Africa. we delivered the metro style to Morocco. So now we have 30 markets, and we are hopeful to increase that number further. Here you have an overview of all these markets, so that gives us also the opportunity, if one market is weak one year, then others will compensate for it, so we have a very stable situation in the meantime. What's new in 2016? Israel. Israel is a very large bus market. Not many of you may know that, but it's big indeed. And for Solaris, it's one of the most important markets now. And we have in the meantime more than 200 buses running there. Of course, also in Israel there is some demand for local content, the so-called offset. That means you have to conduct local business to a certain extent in order to sell buses there. And so we will have an agreement with the bodybuilder Hagas. We will deliver chassis at ex-Polehovo, and Hagas will put the bodies on. So that's the first Solaris chassis bus that we have in history. So we do everything to reach markets. We show our flexibility, and so we will see the first Hagas built Solaris buses in 2016. But as you know, we are not only a bus factory, we also make trams. We gained a large order for the city of Hanover to weld frames, tram frames. We just started that. It's 110 units. It's a multi-year contract that will lead into the year 2017. Also, in Leipzig, we signed a contract for 41 trams over many years. Good news is we received notification yesterday that the customer will exercise the first option of that contract. So we have 5 fixed orders, and now plus the 9 options, so 14 trams will start production in 2016 for the city of Leipzig. Also in Poland, we are very successful. My dear colleague, Mr. Palnicza, the best salesman of Solaris in Poland, has sold 60 new Urbinos in Krakow. On top of that, there will be electric buses. There are discussions also about hybrid buses in Poland. So overall, that is just one example about the success of Solaris in Poland. We talked about design prizes, but we also won Bus of the Year in Spain with the electric bus, new Urbino. That model will be delivered in Hanover in 4 weeks from now. It will be in Hamburg. Also there, Hamburg never really had much interest in Solaris buses, but the electric bus opened the door. As well, we have an order there in Finland. Most importantly, company is 20 years old. In March we will have a big celebration about it, with the first and foremost with the employees. They can be really proud, and I have to say I saw Solaris from day one. I was working at that time for the competition. We were thinking, well, yeah, okay, another small company that tries to build buses, and now 20 years later, we talk about 14,000 buses in the field and a revenue of 1.7 billion zloty. So I think the family can be really proud of what they have accomplished, and we will do our best to continue that success story in the years to come. Thank you very much.